The Round Top Antique Show is such a unique experience. It is so critical for not only just client needs of mine, but also just for my own creative spirit to be able to go. Hey y'all, it's Claire Zineker, and today I am so excited about the episode. We had so much to talk about that we ended up breaking it into 2 parts. So this week will be part 1, and next week stay tuned for part 2. And we are talking all about Round Top, which, if you haven't heard about it before, it is an antique show in Texas, in Round Top, Texas, but it's also spread among some of the other towns around there, Warrenton, Carmine, and you can literally find anything you could ever want there. So let's dive in, and I'm going to share all about my favorite vendors. Round Top is a crazy place. Basically, it happens 3 times a year. Vendors from all over the US, from all over the world come. They'll ship containers. There's all kinds of antique goods, new products, anything you could ever imagine. It's all right here, miles and miles of the best shopping ever. I love it. I go multiple times every show. I go to get inspired. I go to buy things for clients. I buy things for myself. And some days I go just to spend time with the vendors who come from overseas and all over the US. And it is just such a community. Everyone is there for the same reason. Everyone's excited. I know, I have a mini version of it. Yeah, I want it. $20. Okay. Done. The Round Top Antique Show was also known as the Round Top Antique Fair, and it actually got started in Round Top, Texas in 1968. The show itself is massive. It stretches for miles and miles and spreads all along multiple towns. And the January show is just for a long weekend. That's the winter show. We're at my favorite place, XS. So there's XS 1 and across the street XS 2, and it is just metal shop buildings full of vendors, all different types of items. There's stuff from Europe, stuff from the US, and the price points, in my opinion, are really good. You have to dig a little bit more, which is obviously my favorite part. But I could spend an entire day just here. I love the finds I have from here. I buy something every time, and it is a must-see. At the show, you can literally find anything you could ever want. They have every antique from mid-century to French to early American. You can find anything. You can find it from any time period. They have even some new items now. A lot of brands have discovered Round Top, and so they pop up with their bedding lines, their clothing, repurposed items. You'll be able to find things like vintage decor, vintage art. You can find furniture. I have my dining chairs, my lounge chairs, my dining table, my benches on my bed. Almost all of my decor has come from Round Top. It is just a treasure trove of amazing finds. It's really hard to explain and describe how many things are packed into these miles of Texas towns. Now we're at a venue called The Compound, which I feel like I say this about every venue, but I love it. I have my top venues, I go to them every year, and this one has a great mix of new items, old items, really beautiful jewelry, my favorite rug vendors here. It's a pretty eclectic mix, and I think it's got maybe a little bit higher price point than other places, so you just kind of know that going into it. that I think is really wonderful about Round Top is that it has a place for every type of shopper. So if you like things already curated, you want to be able to just walk in and see it styled, there are vendors for that and venues for that. If you like the thrill of the hunt, if you want to dig in order to get maybe a better price, they have vendors and venues for that. It is truly a place that appeals to every type of person, every type of antique lover. All right, so we are at Botter Ranch now. It's a little bit smaller of a venue, but it has some amazing vendors. It's a mix of French, it's a mix of mid-century. That's really, really good. And it has a bunch of new fun things. Clothing, bedding, great food, definitely a must stop. Tiny nipples, those tiny ones. The show has international appeal. Visitors from all over the world fly in, drive in, pack up, stay overnight. There are people that have come for years. There are people that come just for one show, for one event. We have celebrities that love to come. It is a really wonderful place and definitely an equalizer. You are all just one big community doing something that everyone loves to do. Round Top the Antique Show has definitely changed what Round Top, Texas is. It is booming with hotels, restaurants, beer gardens, and even some antique vendors have set up shop there year-round. It is such a destination now, whereas it used to just be a small Texas town. All right, y'all, I know that was a lot of information, so hopefully you can take it all in and you enjoyed watching Round Top from my point of view. I can say that if you've never gone to Round Top before, it can be incredibly overwhelming. My dear friend and Round Top partner in crime, Leah Finn, and I are putting together a guide of our favorite vendors, a little bit more about the show, a map, and also our dream ideal days in Round Top. That will be launching soon, hopefully next week. So I'll have the link ready for y'all in part 2. We will talk even more about my favorite vendors and things to look for at the show. And if you have anything you want to add, please leave a comment. Do you have a favorite vendor? Is there something you're hunting for this show? And make sure you like and subscribe and keep following along. Thanks, y'all. Bye.